Good morning. That's more like it yesterday. Familiar names, although it's the opening day of the season. If you stayed in Brøndby till the end, you'd have come out with a small loss on the draw. But you could have cashed out 30th minute equaliser for Brøndby. If you went +1, fine. That's how your +1 would look if you stayed in. But it was a hell of a match coming to the end here. In the Czech One League, this is the new One League. Slavia Prague 0-0. Only 2 shots on target the whole match. So at the opening day of the season, in-play stats are even more significant because we don't have that backbone of form. We don't have any patterns we can take off that. Viborg and Brøndby, just a gentle reminder to you, once you green up, it doesn't matter what happens afterwards. That 1-1 was your ideal opportunity to cash out if you went match odds or +1. But if you stayed in, you'll have to wait, see whether Brøndby can get the equaliser after Uncle Fester gets 2 goals. Indeed, they did here. Then we had a 3-2. So if we stuck with Brøndby, we could have made a lot of money at the end here, taking on Viborg. So a very exciting match. In the Finnish Veikkausliiga, well, red card City. It was a full moon yesterday, I believe, and you tend to see more red cards at the full moon. So a few of these players turn into werewolves. SJK expected to win against Mariehamn, the red card ensuring so. Ilves, well, the market got them right against VPS. I thought it would be a competitive match. These two coming into this in a spot of form, 1.5 the favourite. Score first, and then you're red carded. Oh boy. Great response. So if you did take on the red card, bang. But this would have been unexpected. A 3-2, 2-2 and a 3-2. So this Ilves really performing well in the Finnish Veikkausliiga at the moment. Irish FAI Cup, very little to interest us there. Norwegian Eliteserien, I didn't get involved at all. I don't think I gave a look at this. I did pass this on to you. Laying the draw second half, Stroms and Tromsø. This was, again, you've got the in-play stats to thank for this. Tromsø, one-way traffic, particularly first half. 8 shots on target, 4 off. A clear indication that they wanted to get this out of the way first half. So if you did lay the draw second half, as I suggested on Telegram, well done. Nice and simple. Tromsø score first, you would have got out with a decent enough swing in the odds. Rosenborg and Lillestrøm abandoned. The Ekstraklasse starting new start of the season, and this was an obvious play. Champions from a couple of seasons ago against newly promoted Motor Lublin. How long did Motor Lublin last? No, 32 minutes. So welcome to the Ekstraklasse. Motor Lublin could be a side worth following from a negative perspective this season, taking them on. The Allsvenskan, very little to interest me there yesterday as well. I didn't have a strong play. Similar story with the Superettan. Be good to see the back of those. Young Boys and Sion. Sion newly promoted. And we had an interesting dilemma. Got a 1-1 at half time. You're expecting or you're trusting Young Boys to end the draw second half. I got out with, I think it was a £6 loss. Hadjam, I just bailed out. But if you stayed in, you've got the compounding of the goal for Sion with the red card. For Young Boys, you'd have got a decent return or a swing in the odds. It would have gone up to about 4s or higher. But you're always flirting with last season's champions, even down to 10, coming back into this. So another one. If you lay the draw, it's a neutral play. Pathum Thani and Dortmund. Obviously, Dortmund were out at Spanky's nightclub in Nana Plaza. Don't ask me how I know about Spanky's nightclub in Nana Plaza. I think I read it on a website or something. So that's just the vagaries of playing with friendlies. I did lay Pathum Thani at 1.11. So very low liability, just in case Dortmund decided to turn up. This is a pre-season in one match. Multiple changes, I would have suspected, from the lineups. Look at this, completely different side in the second half. Similar story here. There's Brandt, Roth, Sula. So I don't think it was the first 11 by any stretch, of course. But this is what we play. And just a reminder, it's probably a tactical match for Dortmund, playing players in different positions, perhaps, trying different tactics. Or what I would suggest, they try to come back from a steep defeat. 3-0 with 25 minutes to go. Can they get back into it? Could be a deliberate act. We don't know. That's the joys of playing these friendlies. Tennis-wise, again, I'm taking a back seat on the tennis at the moment. I'm waiting for the hard court season. You saw hard there today. Yesterday, Rafa Nadal, well, he met his match at last. For backing him at above average odds. Wouldn't have paid off here. Berrettini, job done. And again, Zverev losing the first set, won the second. That's all we're interested in. But he's broken the hearts of his German fan base. On to today. And it's, again, it's a new season day. Copenhagen going to be one of the title contenders this season. 1-2 and 4-0 defeats for Lyngby in head-to-heads last season. Copenhagen, solid away form, only lost to first and ninth away from home. So they're good on the road, or at least they were last season. Interturku playing newly promoted Gnisten in the Veikkausliiga. 7th against 10th, so not the best season for Interturku. Why are they such short price favourites? Only 1 loss in 7, perhaps 3 wins in 4. That could be the reason. 4 defeats and 5 for Gnisten. So you'll be solidly, I think, with Interturku here. Ekstraklasa, watching breathe pretty much. 11th v 9th from last season. 0-0 and 1-0 defeat for Stahl in head-to-heads. Is this going to be one of those matches where you back 0-0 pre-match? 5 0-0s at home for Stahl last season. That's relatively high, isn't it? So you might want to back 0-0 pre-match and hope that this very, very defensive Stahl Milik turns up today. Allsvenskan, 2.25 the favourite, should already have you just ringing some alarm bells. Lukewarm market, as I say, but Gaius are unbeaten in 6 at home and have beaten the top 6 3 times. They're playing 8th today. So on that basis, I call it challenge table form. You'd be solidly with Gaius here, wouldn't you? Those are the main matches today. Day off for me today. And it looks a well-chosen day off, doesn't it? Monday, let's have a look. Hard court. This is the start. That's what I want to see. Hard court prior to the US Open on hard. So they've all got on the old plane, got across the Atlantic. David Goffin on a bit of a comeback trail, but this looks about right. Denis Shapovalov, 140th in the world. That's probably down to injury. Similar story for David Goffin, I would suggest. Don't know much about Svajda. Again, we're going to see Americans, of course. Unknown quantity. We don't have the odds. 1.67 Davidovich Fokina, 43rd in the world. But I would be more inclined to focus on hard court tournaments now, because my assumption is that they're going to be giving 100% because it's on the same surface as the next Grand Slam tennis tournament. All this clay stuff, it's very difficult to, but you can see with this clay stuff, a lot of these South Americans and Spaniards are turning up all of a sudden. It's because they're brought up on this surface. Diego Montero got the win a couple of matches ago when not favourite on clay. It's amazing to get to travel around the world, this lot. Wonderful. So I'm a bit of a back seat today with that. And the football, much of a muchness, start of a new season. But we've got reliables in Copenhagen. We saw Brøndby yesterday. Again, please, 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 in-play stats are key in the opening day of the season. They have to be. You don't have any form lines to work off, do you? So that's it at the moment. I might be about, but I do like to take the day off and do my own thing after having given up my weekend. Roma against Kosice, friendlies where you saw that old Bernard Cribbins is playing Taunton. So I look forward to that one a bit later on. Huddersfield playing Aris Thessaloniki. How on earth are you going to unpack that? Inter Milan from Pergolezza. So a couple of big names are out. Roma and Inter Milan playing far weaker opponents, but you just saw with Dortmund against Patentana United ordinarily, that will be 100-0 to Dortmund. So just be careful with friendlies. You want to be in a position like Everton and Sligo Rovers, where it's 3-1 with 6 minutes to go to Sligo. That's the kind of thing you want. That's why I got involved with Dortmund at 3-0 down with 25 minutes to go. It's still doable. Have a great day. I might see you a bit later. It all depends if I'm up and about. But certainly, I'll be looking at Inter Turku at 4 o'clock. It looks very readable, doesn't it? So that'll be my first port of call. And keep an eye on Copenhagen. Like Midtjylland, like Brøndby, they're going to be very reliable, I think, in the Danish Super League. Have a great day today. Might hear from you at 4 o'clock, but it is my day off. See you again tomorrow.